So, this is a doozy of a conversation that has like 12 different avenues to go in, so hopefully this video is coherent. But we're going to talk about, is there a chance the Lakers end up regretting not trading for Kawhi Leonard when they had the opportunity to this offseason? And the reason they would regret this is pretty much if they don't get Kawhi next season and then they don't get another star player in free agency, right? And I think they are banking on the fact that they are the Lakers. They think they know that Kawhi wants to go to the Lakers. I mean, there's a million rumors out there that he wants to do it, and that no matter how this Raptors season goes for Kawhi, he's going to leave. He's going to sign with the Lakers. You got Kawhi, LeBron, and you get to keep all your young guys, right? That's like the perfect world, so to speak. But I guess the flip side of it could be, and I think we did see this with Paul George a year ago, where it's not always a guarantee, even if you are the Lakers, right? We saw a player who really liked his situation in OKC, and you could argue the season didn't even really go that well, but I also think part of it was like Paul George's personality. He just seems like a guy who is a little more low-key and is okay with being in OKC rather than having the spotlight on him all the time like in Los Angeles. And part of me believes like Kawhi's personality may be like that as well, and I do think the Raptors have a bit of that energy to them like the Thunder do, right? So, again, I just don't think it's a total guarantee that Kawhi is with the Lakers. There's a chance that this Raptors season goes really well, and the Raptors are the 1 seed. Kawhi is once again one of the best players in the NBA, potentially even MVP candidate, hell, potentially even the MVP, depending on how good the Raptors are with him. And then they get to like the conference finals, NBA finals, who knows? I mean, I think my Celtics and the 76ers are going to have a lot to say about all this, but I do think it's a possibility if Kawhi is 100% in, and if that's the case, he could end up re-signing. And if he re-signs, that could be looked at as a failure for the Lakers, right? That you don't get the guy that you didn't trade for, who you had the opportunity to trade for. But we do have to go back to what the initial asking price was for Kawhi in the first place. If it really was Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, 2 first-round picks, that's too much, okay? I wouldn't do that if I was the Lakers either. At that point, I would just say, you know what? I'd rather roll the dice. And even if I don't get Kawhi, I'm still going to have cap space. I could get someone else next season, or in the off season of next year, right? But I do think there was a possibility that you could have messed with the offer a bit. Like, I think that was just a negotiating tactic on the Spurs' part, where they just started out high, and then you could get them to come lower and lower. And I think eventually you probably could have gotten Kawhi for something like Brandon Ingram, 2 first-round picks, maybe get a third team involved, I don't know. But something like that, to where you could have LeBron, Kawhi, and you could still have a decent amount of young players on your team. You just probably wouldn't have Brandon Ingram, right? And then from there, you've got Kawhi on your team, and you assume you can re-sign him to a long-year thing, and then boom, you got LeBron, you got Kawhi. You still got Lonzo and let's say like Josh Hart, and you're good, right? You're really good. You're one of the best teams in the league at that point. However, and there are many howevers in this discussion, how good is Brandon Ingram? I think he's really good, okay? I think Ingram, in his prime, is going to be someone who is one of the most well-rounded and versatile players in the NBA, okay? Someone who can play small ball 4, small forward. He can effectively be your shooting guard and sometimes even your primary ball handler, depending on the situation, because his ball handling up to this point in his career I think has been pretty damn good for a wing and is better than the average wing player, combined with his jump shot, which, okay, he doesn't go to it all the time. Like, he only shoots like 2 threes a game or whatever the hell it is, but it looks good, right? And then you hope that he just gets a little stronger and he can just beat more guys off the dribble, finish inside more often, get to the free throw line more often. And then he's a good passer, he's a good rebounder. Like, to me, looks like he's going to be really good, right? And you could argue that just keeping Brandon Ingram for the long term on top of keeping those picks, keeping probably one other young dude who's probably going to be pretty damn good as well. Well, let's say Josh Hart, right? To me, Josh Hart is another dude who could be like a mid-teen scorer, versatile offensive player, be a pretty damn good defender. And you could say that it's worth it more to keep these guys, like guarantee that you have these guys on your team, plus a couple draft picks, and then the rolling of the dice isn't even that drastic of a rolling of the dice for Kawhi, because it's like, if you get him, then amazing, because now you got LeBron and Kawhi, and you get to keep all your young dudes. But then if Kawhi doesn't come to your team, because again, nothing's a guarantee and all that, well, then you're still the Lakers. You still have LeBron, all these guys, who are all going to be a year better than at that point. So there's a chance that your internal improvement would just be pretty damn big anyway. But then you still have cap space. So, I mean, you're looking at free agents that are going to be available next season. The guy I immediately think of is like Jimmy Butler, okay? Because he's got that player option, probably going to decline it. Hell, Kyrie, if we want to explore that one again with LeBron. But, yeah, like, keeping all of your young guys and then ending up with Jimmy Butler, you could argue that is as valuable as losing a couple young dudes and then getting Kawhi Leonard, right? So there's a chance that not getting Kawhi really won't be that bad of a thing and could end up even being better in the long run for these Lakers. Now, I guess the failure would be if you then didn't get a star player at all in free agency after not getting Kawhi. But even then, you still would have the cap space to probably get like one or two really good players. Like maybe you're not getting a top 20 NBA player, but you're getting a couple of top 30 guys. And then you still would have all the assets in the world to trade for someone down the road. Because, I mean, I said this in the Kevin Love video. NBA players are becoming available all the time now in trades, right? And hell, the Anthony Davis trade rumor thing, I mean, it's been kind of bubbling for like 2 years now, but we're getting pretty close to that, you know, because I think there's a chance the Pelicans, while they're going to be a good team this year, they're not going to have a real chance at like, you know, conference finals in the West or any of that. And if Anthony Davis becomes available, then, you know, when you've got all these young dudes and you still have your first round picks that you didn't trade for Kawhi, then, you know, you're right there. And then you could have LeBron and Anthony Davis, and that would, of course, be amazing. And there's a chance that you could still keep some of these young guys and you have those two, or maybe some other star becomes available that we don't see coming, because that's a theme in the NBA now too, where just out of nowhere, Kyrie Irving asks for a trade, or Jimmy Butler's got problems with his teammates, and Kawhi Leonard is a basket case. So, yeah. I hope all that made sense, because I had to turn this commentary off like 4 different times because I kept on being like, I'm confused even talking about this. Yeah, I think that's it. I think the Lakers ultimately are not going to regret not getting Kawhi in the offseason, because even if you don't get him next season, you're probably going to get someone else, you know, because you're the Lakers, you've got LeBron, you're a good team, you got a crap ton of cap space, and they'll probably be fine.